Hello, everyone. I am Dan Stapleton, and with me here is Mike Mitchell.
What's going on?
I'll tell you what's going on. You're reviewing MLB The Show 16.
That's true.
But you're not done yet because...
The servers have not been turned on yet until you guys are watching this video right now.
Yeah. So you've been playing offline for quite a while now, but not the complete experience. So we'll have that full review up later this week. But in the meantime, Mike, what are you thinking? Is this a good year for MLB or an off year?
I think so far it's been a positive experience.
Great.
For sure.
So, the highlights you're talking about are, first of all, the look of it has improved in the lighting and the animations.
Yeah, as you can see, it looks gorgeous. So the thing that they did is they changed the way that light reacts to different objects.
Mm-hmm.
So like metals will pop out a little bit more, and then they added a matte helmet for the Pirates and teams like that actually have those helmets, so it looks like a flatter, duller. So they kind of changed the way that lighting affects stuff that's on the field, which looks really cool. And they pretty much overhauled their whole animation system. Threw away all the old stuff that they've been using for the past couple of years, and then as you can see, they kind of just added a whole bunch of new stuff. It looks really cool.
Yeah, and that's a great way to make it actually feel like a new game. Year to year is not have everybody do exactly the same thing they did last year.
Exactly.
So right here we're looking at footage of the Road to the Show mode, right?
Yeah. So this is your My Player mode, where you take your player from an amateur all the way up to the pros, and they kind of changed the beginning of it this year. They added a scouting day, where you go through batting drills, where you're judged on which pitches you swing at, which pitches you hit far, which pitches you aim in which direction, that kind of thing. And then they have you go through fielding drills. So if you're an infielder, they'll have you take a bunch of ground balls to the left or to the right, and then they'll have you field some bunts and stuff like that and see how you do.
So how do you enjoy being judged like a piece of meat?
I'm probably being judged in the comments right now, so it's all good.
All right. But so you enjoyed starting the career a little bit earlier, right?
Yeah. I think it's because the way that they give you your scouting report is pretty realistic. So your set attributes are you kind of do that beforehand, but then your projection, which is what the scouts give you, is based on what you do. And the way that it looks, they use a realistic 2080 model that they actually use in for real amateurs, and it kind of adds another level of authenticity.
Great. So one of the other big changes they've got here is they've added kind of like a dose of Fallout style RPG gameplay. So both VATs and perks.
Yes.
So tell us about the perks.
So there are two types of perks you can have. There are consumable and passive perks. The consumable perks you can use at any moment, at any time. And by the way, I just want to point out what's happening right here. The game finished, right? And then you don't have to go into the main menu anymore. You can just hit next game, and then add your trading points right here, and then get right back into the game as it goes.
So you've just been playing one game after the other?
Well, as long as it's in the same stadium, a series of games, 3 games in a row in one park. So you can play all 3 of those games without going back to the main menu.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. Anyway, so perks. So there are things an example of a consumable perk is forcing fly balls. Excuse me. So if you make contact with the ball, you can force the ball up in the air. So the way that comes in handy is if you have a player on third base with 1 out and you need that run to come home, you can sacrifice fly using a perk
on purpose.
And the other kind is a passive perk, which is you load that out beforehand, and that's where an example is if the bases are loaded and you come up to bat, you automatically start with a 2-0 count, which is a very hitter-friendly count. And that right there, what you just saw, was the new VATS mode, basically. It's called Showtime, and that's where you can use there's a little bar on the bottom you can see. You can use up that time to slow down time, as you saw, but it's kind of hard to get used to when you first start, because you can really make a mistake, and you can kind of only really use it once or twice during the game, depending on how long you use it.
So it's a valuable resource you want to use just when you absolutely need it.
Yep. Exactly.
And do you think that all these changes have improved this? And again, this is just single player; it doesn't apply to multiplayer. And Justin wrote to the show, so it's made it more gamey. Do you think that's a good thing or no?
I think for players who want to invest a lot of time in it, I think it can only add longevity to this mode. Yeah, for sure.
And it makes your character feel a little bit more like a superhero.
Exactly.
And are you actually picking which perks you want, or is it just giving you stuff?
Well, the perks are you earn perks based on which attributes you train.
Right.
So, like, say if you focus on training your hitting, then you get like
Certain perks, right?
yeah, as opposed to feeling like that.
So we're still looking at Road to the Show here, but what about the other modes you've been playing?
Franchise mode seems to be a whole lot deeper this year. They added a whole bunch of stats, like even like weird, obscure stats like wins above replacement, which is war. And they added like all kinds of stuff like that. And they even added a player morale system. Mm-hmm. So the player can be unhappy if like his contract is bad, or if they added birthplaces this year. So if he's far away from home, then he'll be unhappy. Or like say if he's from Venezuela or something like that, and he has a teammate from Venezuela as well, then he'll be happy. It's called a compadre. So yeah, it's kind of they added a whole bunch of like depth things like that.
Yeah, that's for like a lot more things you have to think of when you're putting your team together and managing trades.
Exactly, and even negotiating system like that.
Are there any players who would rather be far away from home?
Maybe, I'm sure there are.
There's one more mode you want to talk about, isn't there? Or isn't there?
That's all that's offline right now.
Oh crap! Okay. Well,
it's all right.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why you haven't got your full review done yet. Is
exactly.
that they haven't given us access to the full game yet.
But I'm really looking forward to Diamond Dynasty mode. There's a couple new things in there that I'm dying to dig into.
All right. Well, please check back more for our final review of MLB The Show 16. We hope to have that up pretty soon, depending on how much stuff there is awaiting for you online.
Yep.
And hopefully everything works. So for much more on baseball simulations and sports sims in general, stick with IGN. Thanks, Mike.
No problem.